Welcome to the D3 Discipleship Podcast, a podcast about the language and tools that help to create a culture of intentional discipleship in your church. We are excited that you're joining us today and hope that you enjoy what you hear.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the D3 Discipleship Podcast. My name is Ray, and alongside me is my co-host Katie Ketzner.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You can't see us this week.
Yeah, you can't see us. We're not YouTubing this week.
Nor do you want to see us, because I literally rolled out of bed this morning and I was like, it is what it is.
It's cold day here in Kansas City, and we are just here. So we have actually had a couple weeks off because you were gone.
Yes.
And then my son was sick last Friday, and it was one of those like, hey, can't bring him up to the studio while we do this.
Yeah.
It was bad. And then here we are.
Yeah, and it was my birthday weekend, so I was like,
you did have a birthday.
I would like to just not be here.
Yeah. So, but here we are today. We're here. And so just to remind you, the purpose of this podcast is to coach and equip you to lead your best in discipleship. And really today, what we're going to do, Katie, is kind of look back on this past semester, if you will, since we started back in the fall, believe it or not. In the fall.
Wow.
It's now Christmas time.
That's insane.
So crazy. But in that, we're just going to kind of review what we've talked about. If this is your first episode and you're tuning in, we want you to kind of go back and listen to some things and check them out and all that. So
yeah, this is just our wrap up.
Yes. It's a Merry Christmas to you and a couple more things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll jump in.
Okay, so we started off the semester.
We did.
Back in the fall.
Yeah.
Just like the kids going back to school and reviewing the basics of the D3 pathway.
Yes.
And so what did we talk about back then?
So we talked about our discipleship equation, right? So one common language plus one common method equals uncommon transformation. I almost said uncommon discipleship. That's not it. Uncommon transformation. And the idea that how those two things work together, the language and the methods. And then from there, we kind of presented our language and our methods, kind of a 30,000-foot view of our discipling pathway. And then over those next couple of weeks, we broke that down into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. I will say this. If you are a new discipling leader listening, we have several groups that I think here in the next couple of weeks or not, like right after the first year, are going to be deployed. Ooh. So if you're a new leader listening to this, I would greatly encourage you maybe to go back and listen to those so that you kind of have an idea of each of the phases and tell you a little bit more about that and what those look like.
Yeah.
But I think we got a lot of feedback on that. Like you seem to. Maybe not. You're looking at me like I'm
like,
crazy.
Which part?
With the feedback of like people enjoying that segment, just to kind of refresh them, right?
Yeah. Well, I think just in general, people like going back and either they haven't led for a while or they're new to it or they've just forgotten.
Right.
This podcast is, good for that.
It's good stuff.
So I hear.
Good stuff. Yeah. So then after our back to school, we jumped into kind of an ultimate Q&A. Like if you want to answer some questions, like we had some great questions in that Q&A.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Especially when, I'm not the only one asking questions.
That's right. The funny thing is, Katie, since we've done that Q&A, we have not gotten any questions.
What?
So I know people just don't, I don't know.
I can't believe that because knowing the amount of questions I have alone, just thinking through these things.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well,
I think a lot more people have questions. They're just not asking.
Yeah.
So ask your questions, guys. Come on.
Maybe we're just so good at this that nobody has any questions.
That's right. We present information quite well.
That's right. Yeah, that may not be. I don't know.
Two.
Yeah.
Tooting our own horn.
That's right. Exactly right. Then what did we talk about? I don't remember.
Then we had Jonathan Bissig on.
We did. Yes.
Talked about our covenants.
Yes. We had a great conversation about that.
Yeah. It was good.
And so if I remember correctly, what he talked about during his interview and different things like that was he had presented his covenant to his group just the week before, right? So it was pretty fresh, and they were walking through that together. And also, he kind of gave a perspective from being outside of New City and then coming in because he's new to New City and that's a lot of news, new to our staff as well. And so he gave a great perspective of like new eyes.
That is nice
on discipleship.
Once you're in it for a while,
Yeah.
it kind of glazes over, but like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. From there we talked about, I'll cut out that big long yeah. After that, we talked about the 8 Arenas tool and how that's a great kind of segue tool for kind of the top left-hand corner. So moving from phase 1 to phase 2, moving through abiding, and then how to kind of spider web that into the rest of your discipling journey.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That was fun.
Yeah. That's what I'm seeing is this tool is really great for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a segue, but also like it opens up the leader's eyes
right.
to see what might need to be discussed first, or
Mm-hmm.
like just to give leaders a, like, here's your next step.
Yes.
So I think it's, yeah.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah. Then after that, we had 2 more great interviews moving through phase 1 and even taking the turn into phase 2.
So then we had Hope on the show.
Yes.
And she talked about stories, and
did.
like she also talked about like how she came to get her people of peace.
Yes.
That's a big question of mine right now. Like,
Yeah, and that was a great conversation. Like I really enjoyed that one from the standpoint of looking for people of peace.
he enjoys all of the conversations
I
that
do.
we have, but that one
It's-
is just extra for
Hey,
him, I guess.
it's yeah, it is great to have like people in the room as
it
you
is.
have said a couple different times. Like you learn so much from their experiences and all that fun stuff.
I learn something every single time we have someone in.
So after that, we had Morgan and Lauren who
Yep.
came on and talked about finding a co-leader, and then also talked a little bit about their phase 1 experience, and then they were stepping into phase 2. Like they had just stepped into phase 2, right? So great information there as far as the first part of the discipling square as well. So
when we come back next semester, which in January,
yes,
we will be talking about
phase 2. And so we'll probably grab a couple different people that are in phase 2 and have conversations with them about how they've maybe introduced a tool and walk through some of those tools and different things like that. Then we're going to find some folks who have done an out and done a good out. And so to kind of give some great examples and different things like that. And then we may pull somebody in from my D group, because that's where we'll be stepping into right after the first year is in competency, phase 3. And so we could do that as well.
I was going to say,
and all that.
We need to have some people in who are in a group.
Yes.
And talk about their experience,
I
not
agree.
just the leader's perspective.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good learning opportunity for leaders, just to see like, oh, you might think this is how it's going, but this could be how it really is going.
Yeah.
It could be good or bad.
That's true. It could be good or bad.
You could feel like you're failing, but you're the people in your group are just growing and learning a lot from it.
Right.
Or you could think you're just rocking it out and they're like, I've learned nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, maybe we won't have somebody from my group. No, I'm just kidding. They'll be like, this is terrible. You're a terrible leader. No, great. That's awesome.
I was going to say, hopefully they would just at least lie to your face.
That's right.
But no, that's not good.
Well, actually, we had a learning circle moment about lying in our group. No, I'm totally kidding.
Oh, I was like, did you really?
Yeah, no. We got good folks in my group. And then we'll have, what am I trying to say? In addition to that, we're going to have some different tools that we're going to talk about as well. So we'll break down some tools and help just kind of coach in that, and tips and tricks and different things like that.
Yeah.
Also, this doesn't have to do with the podcast, but on our YouTube page, we're going to have some new tools, tips, and tricks as well. That's one of my personal goals in the first 90 days of the new year is to have some new helpful videos on the website. So some of those things that are supposed to go in your book, right? Like going to make some videos on our YouTube page for that. So yeah.
Cool.
So like your book, not the new guidebook.
I know,
like
the new version for Katie alone.
The Katie book. Yeah. So, but in that, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, here's a plug. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can check those things out as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I just came up with a name for my book.
Oh, what is it?
We could give it to other people, but
Discipleship
for Dummies.
Oh, we could.
Is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up.
But if not, Trademark.
We could sell it. You'll get royalties. How about that?
I would love that. Give me money without me having to do anything. That'd be great.
Go. Yeah. Hey, you came up with the idea. So
right?
Royalties it is.
And I'm fine calling myself a dummy because I feel like
as long as I get paid for it. No.
I feel like it's extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Good
I'll
stuff.
Get on that.
Yeah.
We'll get on that.
So got some big things coming up in the new year and all that.
Yeah.
But
until then,
we
wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Yes.
We hope you have a great time with family and friends and just sitting in the moment and just remembering why this season is so special for us.
Yes. Celebration of Jesus' birth, right? So pretty cool that he was born.
Get some relaxation in.
That's right.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the moment.
That's right. Couple days off and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. And then New Year's.
Woo.
23.
Then you party.
Who would have thought?
That's crazy.
2023. Wild.
It's very random, but I saw a meme about, did you ever watch that movie with Hilary Duff where she,
I don't spend a lot of time watching Hilary Duff movies,
it was when I was a
maybe.
kid. It was when I was a kid. She went to Italy and she found out like her doppelganger was a Italian pop star. What was it called? Anyways, there was a meme saying that was 19 years ago and I flipped. I was like, what?
Elf released 20 years ago.
You're kidding me.
Isn't that crazy?
You are kidding me.
No. Pretty sure.
I'm going to go cry in a closet now.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
I can't be that old.
Well, you did just have a birthday. Sorry.
Yeah. My husband keeps ragging on me because I'm apparently a cougar.
Nope.
Because I'm older. That's what everyone says. So my birthday is the 12th and his birthday is January 5th. And so I'm not going to say how old I am right now, but normally there's 3 years. We're 3 years apart.
Okay.
But
that's not cougar worthy.
He's saying that we're technically 4 years apart now until he turns whatever he turns on the 5th.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's not how math or calendars work.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works.
It's 3 years and so many days. Like you can't just round up to 4 years. We're not 4 years apart.
There you go.
My rant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep. I tell you what, this really took a turn. But all that to say, we will see you in the upcoming year on the D3 Discipleship Podcast. Yeah?
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
All right. We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that today's information was helpful and useful for your discipling journey. We would like to encourage you to subscribe, review, and share on social media. If you would like more information, check out d3pathway.com.